When the NWO destroys
Anything less would be civilized.
Hey, hello, friends and fellow wisdom seekers and fellow truth seekers. Welcome to the Brave New World Order podcast, straight out the dungeons of podcasting. I am Brandon St. One. Thank you all for joining me for another episode. Today, we are going to dive into the recently released UAP report put out on January 12th of this year, 2023. And we're going to dive into Project Bluebeam a little bit since that's related. And also, we're going to dive into vaccines a little, some information coming out about them and some of the effects that are being witnessed live on television, possibly, as well as some news stories coming out about strokes after the booster shots. We'll dive into a little bit of that, and I'll probably rant a little bit too. So thank you all for joining me. I hope that you enjoy the podcast. And if you are, please take a second to subscribe and follow wherever you listen to the podcast. It really helps out the show, helps build it up. That's the best thing you can do if you like this podcast to help out is to share it, follow, subscribe. Thank you all for doing that. And there's also a link in the show notes for you. If you want to help support the show, any bit helps. I thank you all from the bottom of my heart for doing so. Keeping this show ad-free, because ads are fucking boring. I skip them. I skip through them if I'm listening to a podcast or watching YouTube videos. So I don't want to bog my show down with that bullshit. I like my show how it is. But if you want to help out, you can. Click one of those links in the show notes. Thank you so much. And also reach out, say what's up. I love hearing from you. You can email me, the Brave New World Order podcast at gmail.com. Follow me on Twitter, DM me at Brave NWO podcast. I don't really use it that much, but I go on there. So if you hit me up, I will see it. So I hope to hear from you. Let's get into this without any more of the bullshit. So follow me on my journey. Let's swan dive head first into the abyss. Okay, let's read the report that just came out on January 12th from the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, also known as the ODNI for short. And this is the 2022 Annual Report on Unidentified Aerial Phenomena, also known as UAP, also known as what used to be known as UFOs. And they decided last year, the year before, when they started doing this disclosure, that they were going to just rebrand it, get rid of UFOs, get rid of like 100 plus years of sightings and research done by people. So now it's UAPs. This is the latest report. And I'm just going to read the whole thing because I think it's good. I want to read it for myself. So I thought maybe you can come along with me on my journey reading this. And I think it's good to like know what's going on here, know what they're talking about, know what they're planning. Because I think, I'll talk about what I think. I think this has to do a little bit with Project Bluebeam. Possibly. I'll get into a little bit of Project Bluebeam. I actually did an episode on it when I first started the podcast. So you can check that out, but I'll get into why I think all this is happening now after we read through it. It's not very long. It's good to familiarize ourselves with all the abbreviations and all the lingo that they're talking about because they may be preparing us for something happening. This might be the year. Who knows? But let's read through it, all right? So the first page is Executive Summary. Unidentified aerial phenomena UAP reporting is increasing, enabling a greater awareness of the airspace and increased opportunity to resolve UAP events. In addition to the 144 UAP reports covered during the 17 years of UAP reporting included in the Office of the Director of National Intelligence Preliminary Assessment, there have been 247 new reports and another 119 that were either since discovered or reported after the preliminary assessment's time period. This totals 510 UAP reports as of August 30th, 2022. Additional information is provided in the classified version of this report. Oh, there's a classified version too, huh? Dang. Okay, well, let's keep going. AARO and ODNI assess that the observed increase in the UAP reporting rate is partially due to a better understanding of the possible threats that UAP may represent, either as safety of flight hazards or as potential adversary collection platforms, and partially due to reduced stigma surrounding UAP reporting. This increased reporting allows more opportunities to apply rigorous analysis and resolve events. The establishment of the DoD All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, that's the AARO, should facilitate more coordinated UAP efforts, resulting in greater attribution of UAP. While limited data on UAP continues to be a challenge, the establishment of AARO, with its broad scope of authorities and responsibilities, and its replacement of the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, which was called the UAPTF, will allow for increased coordination of efforts against the UAP problem set. AARO's authorities ensure that UAP detection and identification efforts will span across DoD and relevant intra-agency partners, as well as the intelligence community, with the support and coordination of the National Intelligence Manager for Aviation, NIM-Aviation's and AARO's coordination efforts will improve U.S. government awareness of objects in the airspace and resolution of UAP events. UAP events continue to occur in restricted or sensitive airspace, highlighting possible concerns for safety of flight or adversary collection activity. We continue to assess that this may result from a collection bias due to the number of active aircraft and sensors, combined with focused attention and guidance to report anomalies. AARO, in conjunction with NIM Aviation and the IC, will continue to investigate any evidence of possible foreign government involvement in UAP events. Okay, so that's the first part of that. The thing I noticed right in the first paragraph, actually, like the second sentence, it says, in addition to the 144 UAP reports covered during the 17 years of UAP reporting. So this talks about just 17 years. When, like I said, they changed it from UFO to UAP, got rid of any mention of all the other stuff that's been going on for like years, hundreds of years. And they just focusing on now these objects found by the military. All the sightings by regular fucking Joe Schmo, you little piece of shit with your little cell phone, that doesn't matter. Or anybody with just eyewitness testimony or anything. All this stuff that comes out is going to come out from them, and it's them, and they're probably prepping us for Project Bluebeam. But we'll get into that. Let's keep reading. The next part of this is scope and assumptions. And this is just kind of, I'm not going to read all this because I actually started reading it, and it's all just like what agencies are involved. So it's pretty much like every fucking government, military, intelligence agency is pretty much involved, from the FBI, the NSA, the DOE, the FBI, this new AARO, the NOAA, all this fucking bullshit. So it just says that the AARO is working with all these organizations, and they're supposed to be providing, what does it say, quarterly reports to UAP policymakers. So that's what the scope entails. I'm not going to read through all of it because it's fucking boring, and I don't want to bore everyone because fucking abbreviations and shit are boring, just a straight list of them. So assumptions is the next part of this, and I haven't read any of this yet, so it's the first time for me. So I'm going to read this, and if it's boring, then I'll just stop and paraphrase it for you, because I don't know what's to come. All right, so assumptions. Multiple factors affect the observation or detection of UAP, such as weather, illumination, atmospheric effects, or the accurate interpretation of sensor data. Regarding review or analysis of UAP events, ODNI and AARO operate under the assumption that UAP reports are derived from the observer's accurate recollection of the event and or sensors that generally operate correctly and capture enough real data to allow initial assessments. However, ODNI and AARO acknowledge that a select number of UAP incidents may be attributable to sensor irregularities or variances, such as operator or equipment error. Okay, next thing is governmental changes to manage UAP issues. Establishment of the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, the AARO. The Deputy Secretary of Defense directed the USD to establish an office with sufficient scope. Okay, so basically they just fucking established this the AARO. I'm not going to read all of it. ODNI coordination with AARO and multi-agency partners seeking opportunities to assist in collection, reporting, and analysis of UAP incidents across the IC. Okay, so once again, I haven't read it yet, but I can kind of tell it's just a bunch of different agencies that are going to partner up and they're seeking opportunities to assist in collecting data and reporting and analyzing these UAP incidents. Okay, next thing is continued reporting and robust analysis are providing better fidelity on UAP events, but many cases remain unresolved. UAP reporting. The ODNI preliminary assessment on UAP discussed 144 UAP reports and had an information cutoff date of March 5th, 2021. Since then, the AARO received a total of 247 new UAP reports. An additional 119 UAP reports on events that occurred before March 5th, 2021, but were not included in the preliminary assessment, have been discovered or reported after the preliminary assessment's time period. The 366 additional reports, when combined with the 144 reports identified in the preliminary assessment, bring the total UAP reports cataloged to date to 510. Since its establishment in July 2022, AARO has formulated and started to leverage a robust analytic process against identified UAP reporting. Once completed, AARO's final analytic findings will be available in their quarterly reports to policymakers. AARO's initial analysis and characterization of the 366 newly identified reports, informed by a multi-agency process, judged more than half as exhibiting unremarkable characteristics. 26 characterized as unmanned aircraft system, UAS, or UAS-like entities. So unmanned aircraft systems is UAS. Okay, so like drones. 163 characterized as balloon or balloon-like entities, and 6 attributed to clutter. Okay, what the fuck that means? Clutter? Okay, well, like space debris and shit? Interesting, right? Okay, so initial characterization does not mean positively resolved or unidentified. This initial characterization better enables AARO and ODNI to efficiently and effectively leverage resources against the remaining 171 uncharacterized and unattributed UAP reports. Some of these uncharacterized UAP appear to have demonstrated unusual flight characteristics or performance capabilities and require further analysis. The majority of new UAP reporting originates from U.S. Navy and U.S. Air Force aviators and operators who witnessed UAP during the course of their operational duties and reported the events to the UAPTF or AARO through official channels. Regardless of the collection or reporting method, many reports lack enough detailed data to enable attribution of UAP with high certainty. Partnerships and collaboration. This is another one of those blah, blah, blahs, FAA and NASA. See? NASA. Boom. Bluebeam coming, baby. All these organizations. You think that they're really giving us the truth? They are controlling the narrative, and they're going to trickle down this information just enough to get us, to get normies, most people that aren't don't, look into stuff too deep. It has to get the normies a little bit without scaring the shit out of them. They can't just launch into holograms and spaceships in the sky right away. They have to prep everybody a little bit. So that's what this is going on. This is NASA, FAA, all that. Partnerships and collaboration. They have maintained communication with their allied partners regarding UAP, blah, blah, blah. And then there's flight safety concerns and health implications. And it mentions that to date, there have been no reported collisions between U.S. aircraft and UAP. Regarding health concerns, there have also been no encounters with UAP confirmed to contribute directly to adverse health-related effects to the observers. But they don't know yet. They may appear at any time after an event occurs. They acknowledge this. And then there's a summary and way ahead. UAP continue to represent a hazard to flight safety and pose a possible adversary collection threat. So that's, and it summarizes how the original preliminary report had 144, and it's from 17 years of UAP reporting in the ODNI preliminary assessment, combined with another 119, and then another more 247, which leads us to a grand total of 510 UAP reports. See, it's funny to me that 510 reports, but how many people have reported seeing things? How many, way more than 500. It's all going to come from the military. It's all going to come from NASA. And they're all collaborating. It says it right here. This is probably why they do these types of disclosure things, to get all the government agencies on board, and they can put it in writing and put it into law, what they're going to do and the money that goes there. And then they're going to blue beam us. Fuck with our heads. Maybe. So who knows, right? I don't know what's going to happen. I like to pay attention to different things. I hope you enjoy coming along with me on my journey. I don't know anything. I'm just looking, watching the world. There's just a few more paragraphs here, but it's just kind of reiterates what I just said about these agencies coordinating, the DOD, and all, the FAA, NASA, all them going to coordinate together to make sure that UAPs aren't going to kill us, or if they are going to try to kill us, that they'll be ready. And this is probably what this is going to lead to, Project Bluebeam. So what is Project Bluebeam that I keep mentioning? I did an episode on Project Bluebeam when I first started the podcast because it's very interesting to me. But basically, the story in short is, you can go listen to that if you want. I don't know, whatever you want to do. Or you can just listen to me summarize it again. So Serge Monast was a journalist. I think he was from France. And he was writing some crazy stuff that they called crazy, right? About the government possibly launching a fake alien invasion using holograms in the sky, NASA, all these agencies working together, either a fake alien invasion or some kind of Jesus Christ second coming from the sky, and then somehow technology would be developed. And this was in the 90s. He ended up dead, like a lot of people who talk maybe truths or speculate on what the government's doing. Maybe it's not the truth, but maybe it's close to it. Who knows? So he ends up dead, but before he did, he wrote about Project Bluebeam and the second coming of Christ thing that I just mentioned, using technology. I don't know what kind of technology, could be new, like 5G or anything like that, or, vaccines with certain technology in them. I don't know. Purely speculation, of course. But somehow this technology is going to be able to speak to like everybody and say what each person wants to hear and see. And if you're religious, if you're Christian, it will tell you what you want to hear. If you're Muslim, it will tell you what you want to hear. If you're Jewish and whatever else, it will tell you what you want to hear. And a lot of people will succumb to this, but it might not be real. They might be using some technology that we have no idea about, projecting images into the sky. People will be so sure that it's real, and some people will go mad. The world will be in chaos. And who will come to save us? Right? I don't know if they'll do the second coming type thing. Who knows? I think the fake alien invasion thing is more plausible because that's the problem they provide, and obviously the solution is them with the military and whatever else. Very interesting to think about and read about. Definitely check out anything out there. I'll post some links about Project Bluebeam for you to check out. I'll also post this report in the show notes for you all to read for yourselves if you want to. It's not much more than what I read, but a bunch of abbreviations that I left out, and they kind of just go over the same point over and over again, that they established this new department. So that's it really for the new UAP report. Thanks for checking that out with me. Okay, it's time. Let's talk some vaccines. It's been a minute. I kind of went hard talking about that for a little while, and then it was all kind of the same stuff, same old shit. But I did say the last episode that I did mention vaccines. I think I said the dam is about to break, and it looks like it is. It's definitely breaking. We see a lot of people starting to question everything that's going on because a lot of people are fucking dropping ill right in front of millions of people. There was a player, everybody saw it, Damar Hamlin for the Buffalo Bills. Everybody saw him just drop down. There's been lots of footage on the internet of basketball players, soccer players, lots of stories about children, teenagers sleeping and not waking up. It's very sad stuff. I don't like to talk about people dying all the time, and I've mentioned in the past too, I have everybody pretty much in my family besides like one aunt that got vaccinated. And if, I don't want anything to happen to those people. So I'm not going to revel in any of these deaths and be happy about any of this stuff. I don't want to be right about any of this stuff. This shit is scary, but it's happening. It happened. People fell for the propaganda. People didn't listen. And it's sad. But right now, it seems like people are starting to question things. It seems like many, many more stories are making it on the news. We have a story here, which this is very funny, though, because this is the game that's being played. I have a story here about Pfizer and issue with the booster causing strokes. And that's the scary thing, because this story came out like just the other day. I have this CNN. God bless those piece of shit assholes over there, right? But got to look at the news and what's out there. So CNN posted this about the stroke. But then, just like later in the day, I have a story here from The Hill that says the CDC and FDA find no increased risk of the ischemic stroke. Is that how you say that? Ischemic stroke for elderly who get Pfizer's bivalent booster. So this is how the game is being played. They investigate themselves and they find no wrongdoing and no problems whatsoever. So keep boosting your children and boosting everybody with as many as they say, as quick as they say. I'll tell you one thing, though. That happened right before my very eyes, which, once again, I understand anecdotal evidence. I'm not saying 100% because there's no way you can tell 100% because doctors won't tell you. But my grandmother, my 92-year-old grandmother, Nana, I call her, Italian lady, she had 3 shots of the Moderna, not the Pfizer, but the Moderna. And I haven't heard anything in the mainstream news anyway about any type of stroke or anything related to Moderna, but she had the Moderna and then had a stroke, had the ischemic stroke. And once again, in her 90s, I understand. They're not going to tell you, but she was cooking and doing like all types of shit. But I get it. I know. People have strokes and people have heart attacks at 92 years old. I get it. But I also know somebody else that's not that old that had a heart attack after being jabbed with the Pfizer. Once again, not in great health. Anyway, not the most physically fit person or anything like that. Overweight a little bit, but still didn't have a heart attack beforehand, and then gets jabbed, has one. I know doesn't mean correlation means causation or whatever the fuck the saying goes, but it just seems like this is happening a lot more and more. And then you see the guy who plays for the Buffalo Bills in front of millions of people all over the place. I'm sure you saw it. Damar Hamlin. He just had, routine tackle, no matter what they tell you. It wasn't a hard hit or anything. And he went down. Doesn't mean it was that either. Could be many other things. Things happen. But there are stories out there of young children and teenagers in their sleep. There's a representative. His name is Sean Caston. And his daughter died in her sleep. And they don't talk about it. They just was in the news real quick. Just little things like that. I'll put all these news stories in the show notes too, so you guys can go check them all out, because I tend to just bring up some things off the top of my head when I'm thinking about and trying to analyze these issues. And they are complex issues too. Obviously, we don't want to jump to any conclusions, but when you see things happening and then people online get mad if anybody questions if anybody was vaxxed, which is hilarious because you couldn't go out anywhere on a plane or out to a bar or see a concert if you didn't have your vaccine card or whatever. So it was okay to ask then, but when maybe you're still on the fence about taking the jab. Maybe you're still analyzing and maybe you want to ask those questions. What's wrong with that? So yeah, keep asking questions. And I just wanted to bring that up and rant about vaccines and about the COVID bullshit just for a little bit, because I see these stories sneaking in to the mainstream, and that means the narrative is definitely changing because they can't do it all at once because people's heads will explode, the cult members, but they have to do it slowly, and it's going to happen. It seems like the narrative is switching. So you got these documents turning up for Biden just at the right time. So suspicious that his own people are finding them all over the place. It seems like something is happening. Who knows, though? But I just wanted to bring up the 2022-2023 predictions episode that I did in the past, I think in September, October, sometime like that. Check it out. But there's a lot of stuff going on, and it seems like some of that stuff is coming true as far as the narrative changing and the pendulum swinging that I brought up. I don't know if Biden is actually going to get removed from office. Maybe not. And another thing on there was somebody high profile might kill themselves on TV. That should be interesting to see. That's crazy. I don't want anything like that to happen, but imagine it. Be fucked up. Imagine, because what's going to happen with Biden, maybe what comes out might really make people's heads explode, and certain people have been pushing narratives and maybe stuff about vaccines and about gain of function. Maybe, somebody might not be able to handle it and handle the fact that they were the ones on the news pushing it or something. I don't know what's going to happen. Shit's going down, though. It's pretty interesting to watch. I don't really care. I don't put my emotions into it or anything. It's just watching it and seeing what the psyop is what is being played, what's being pushed at us. Because, I've mentioned it before about the fake-ass idols, the fake-ass messiahs that they keep pushing out in front of us, and everybody's bowing down saying they're the greatest thing ever. Elon Musk, all out, those people. Andrew Tate. Now look at Andrew Tate. Is he going to get, exonerated and be the great hero for all these fucking losers that are looking for somebody to, be their father figure or some shit? I don't know. Just don't fucking fall for it, right? Don't fall for the traps. I say it all the time. They're definitely constructing psyop upon psyop, and the narrative is going to change, but it's probably being done on purpose. And they're probably going to try to get us to go a certain way and maybe into some things that aren't really good. But we got to keep an eye out, and that's the thing. That's what I'm doing anyway. And I thank you all for joining me. This is a journey, and we are just trying to find the right path to go down. And I think just staying true to yourself and don't fall for all these fucking shifty, snaky, grifty motherfuckers out there. And I think things will work out. Because to me, that seems to be the problem that has happened time and time again, is that we fall for these people that we think that not me. I haven't been here for a long ass time. I'm not that old. I'm only 40 years old. I haven't been here that long. But in the past and in my lifetime, we get comfortable and we really think that these philanthropists and these politicians, I mean, I haven't really thought that, but I'm saying that we all collectively, we obviously think it enough that like voting and looking at politics and putting our faith in these people is going to lead to the right thing, because that's what we do. But it isn't working out for us. The best thing to do, what I think the best thing to do, is try. It's hard. I'm trying to find my way, is to try to find the best way to just do it on your own and try to opt out as much as you can out of all the bullshit. Whether it's like where you spend your money, whether it's on like shitty junk food that enables all these fucking companies and these conglomerates. And it's hard. I like things too. I'm not fucking saying, give up everything in the world, but I'm just little things like that. That's like one way you can start, but try to find a way to just figure it out on your own and not fall for this shit. I don't know how to do it. I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm trying to find my way. Best way is to try to opt out the best you can, I think, because we just keep falling for people and falling for these systems that just don't work, and it just happens over and over and over again. And the more people that just say fuck it and just start living their own way, I'm not saying be a fucking maniac criminal, go loot and shit, pillage people just because you just live lawless. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, I think if everybody just try to live the best, I know I'm going off on a fucking tangent here, but you get what I'm saying. If everybody just try to live the best way they possibly can for themselves and didn't fuck around with all this crazy power grabbing shit and put our faith into these fucking power grabbing bullshit monsters, then I think things would be a little better. I don't know how we do it, but my little way of doing it is talking into this microphone. And I thank you all for joining me here on the Brave New World Order podcast. If you're new here and you like what I'm doing, please take a second to subscribe and follow. If you like hearing outside of the box ideas and following me on my journey exploring the occult, different philosophies, hermeticism, and following along with these fucking elite maniac overlords in real time, just trying to figure out the psyops and trying to see what's going on. If you like that kind of stuff, follow me, subscribe, share this with your friends, your family, anybody walking down the street. Somebody bumps into you, instead of getting into a fight with them, tell them about the podcast, start a conversation. And if you want to help out the show and help see it grow, there is a couple links in the show notes for you. You can help out. Any bit helps. It's just me here putting the show together. Lone Wolf McQuaid, just doing it, having fun. So I appreciate each and every one of you joining me on my journey. I'll be back soon. I got another Emerald Tablets of Thoth Atlantean coming. One more to go. But in the meantime, I hope you are all staying positive. I hope that you question everything. And I hope that you think for yourselves. And I will see you soon. Much love. Peace.